My oldest son, Sasha, we started going to her when he was 7. He had been to so many allergists. They did so many things to him. They pricked his back 120 times. Instead of just giving him the A-B test, are you allergic to this group or are you allergic to this group? They picked him 120 times. And he's got a little tear in his eye and he says, "Don't worry, Mom, it didn't hurt." And you know it did. We take him to a doctor who's a surgeon, and I think it's called a plate, the inside of his nose right around, because his nasal passage was very thin and he couldn't breathe. And it was just terrible. We would stand outside his door. He would go like he couldn't breathe, like he was underwater. And he would always report to us, "I dreamt that I was drowning," because he couldn't breathe. And one time one of his teachers said, "This child has got to get more sleep." And I said, "He's had 15 hours of sleep. How much more sleep do you want him to get? We've been taking him to 5 different allergists." She said, "Oh, I didn't know." Well, you know, it's raw. It was a raw red nerve for us because, you know, you would look up his nose and there was just like a space as big as a dime to breathe in. So we were on this quest to make sure he could breathe, and everybody had their, you know, allergist or this or that. Everybody's got it, you know, so I think we went to 16 doctors. I don't know how many, but the very last doctor we went to, they wanted to give him 1 shot every week, a steroid shot for 52 weeks. I am deathly afraid of needles, and I can't imagine a kid going through that. Took him to another guy, and this guy said, "You're going to take the flashlight and look up his nose in the morning. And if it's thin, you're going to give him some Flonase or something. At night, you're going to look up his nose. And if it's still thin, you're going to give him a Zyrtec." I said to this guy, "Now, you want me to look up my kid's nose 2 times a day with a flashlight?" And he said, "Yes." I said, "Who does that?" And this guy said, "You will if you want to be a good mother." And I thought, you know what? No. I decided to bring Sasha into NAET. She laid him on the table and she said, "Hi, how you doing?" She talked to him. He was 7 at the time. He looked like hell. And I was embarrassed at the way he looked in front of Marilyn because he looked like he hadn't got any sleep. And I said, "Doctor, I am so sorry. He has had sleep." And she turned to me and she said, "If he can't breathe through his nose, of course he's going to look terrible. His brain isn't getting any rest." And immediately I felt so much better. I knew that she knew what was going on. You know, she started testing him and she said, "Do you want to know what it is?" I said, "Just a minute." Went out to the lobby and I got my best friend. I said, "Come in here, she's going to tell us what it is." She said, "It's black widow spider. We get sprayed, bug spray for those in our area." She said, "No." She said, "A cow or a chicken, something he's ingested, before they died, they'd been bitten by that. And that toxin stays in the muscle of the animal, and that's the meat that we eat." Now, this is 7 years ago, but I have to say this. I believe whatever she says. I really do, because she has solved so many problems in my life just like that. And they haven't come back. So I believe her. And I am skeptical. My father always said to me, "You don't really believe that, do you?" When she says something, I really see how that could happen, you know. So she treats Sasha, and he can't breathe. And he's laying there, and when kids lay there, she puts a little teddy bear in between their legs so that they don't cross over. And I am sitting there, and he's up this way, and all of a sudden he sits up. He says, "Mom." He can breathe through his nose. And he's just got this grin on his face. I can breathe. And he's been breathing ever since. He's breathed his way into a healthy 15-year-old teenager who plays lacrosse. And I guarantee you, if I'd have agreed to give him a shot a week of steroids, I would not have the kid I have today. He's a teenager. I wonder if she can treat for being obnoxious.